Hey there, South Mississippi. Chief Meteorologist Eric Jeansonne here. We're going to do a quick severe weather update for this weekend. We do have the risk, of course, we've been talking about it all week, for the potential for strong to severe storms tomorrow, damaging wind gusts, tornadoes, and large hail. Not everyone's going to see that tomorrow, but the risk is there for some of us to experience some of that. So we'll break down the details on that coming up. But right now, we actually have a tornado watch in effect for areas along and west of I-55. So basically, the western half of Mississippi going into Louisiana is under a tornado watch tonight. There is a risk for severe storms, mainly to our north and west as we go throughout the overnight hours tonight into early tomorrow morning. So just be aware of that. And looking at the radar, we are starting to see some thunderstorms developing over in Louisiana and parts of Mississippi. And we're going to keep an eye. We actually are seeing a little bit of activity over towards Pearl River County and northern Hancock County. But again, it looks like for tonight at least, the better ingredients for severe weather are mainly north of our 6 southern counties in South Mississippi. Here's that risk tonight. In fact, there's a moderate risk for severe storms basically from I-20 north. So the further north you go, the better chances for severe weather into early Saturday morning. Then, of course, what we're really keeping an eye on is for Saturday. The Storm Prediction Center has highlighted all of South Mississippi in a margin or in a moderate risk for severe weather. So I get a lot of questions about this. Storm Prediction Center, based out of Norman, Oklahoma, they put out these risk categories. It's not an intensity forecast, it's a probability forecast. So the chances of seeing severe weather within 25 miles of your location in that area. So essentially, the chances of seeing severe weather increase as you go from marginal to high, the level 1 to 5. So we are in a fairly high risk or a greater risk here in South Mississippi to experience strong to severe storms. What we're concerned about, well, the potential for damaging wind gusts, large hail, and tornadoes. And again, not everyone is going to experience that tomorrow, and tomorrow is not necessarily going to be storming all day long. In fact, there will be many hours of dry weather tomorrow. It'll be windy. We'll see those gusty south winds, 25 to 35 miles per hour, gusting over 40 miles per hour at times. But between the time of about 1 to about 11 o'clock in the evening is where we want you to stay weather aware, as we're most likely going to see these scattered thunderstorms approach the area versus a line. So here's what it looks like on Futurecast. Here we are, 6 a.m. One of the things that we'll watch for in the morning is how quickly will the clouds move out. You know, if we stay cloudy for much of the day, that could help keep the atmosphere more stable, and that would limit the potential for severe weather. But if we get some sunshine tomorrow, then that would actually increase the potential for severe weather, as it would add more fuel for these storms. Notice by 9 to noon on Saturday, things are generally quiet across South Mississippi. Again, tomorrow is not a stormy day all day long, just nonstop severe weather, even though we've been talking about the potential for severe weather for some time now. We're under a moderate risk for severe weather. It's not like it's going to be storming all day long on Saturday. Now, as we head into the late afternoon hours, after about 2 or 3, that's where we're going to start watching to our west for a broken line of thunderstorms. And the way that this sets up is really important, because if it is a cluster of individual thunderstorms instead of a line of thunderstorms, then that means two things. It means a cluster of individual storms will have a better chance for producing tornadoes because they're not competing for energy with other thunderstorms around them. And it also means if they are just individual thunderstorms, that some of us will see some rain and severe weather and others may not. So it's not setting up to be a widespread heavy rainfall event for South Mississippi. It's just the risk is much greater for some of these storms to be very severe. Here we are by 6 o'clock in the evening. That line begins to progress through the area. And note the shape of this line. Instead of a solid line of storms, it is individual thunderstorms, and Futurecast is even hinting the structure of these storms are in the structure of a supercell thunderstorm. What's a supercell thunderstorm? Well, those are thunderstorms that rotate, and you can sort of see the hook in echoes on Futurecast, on the future radar there. So that's an indication that these storms could be rotating as they work their way across South Mississippi. The good news is some of the latest trends are kind of clearing this out well before 11 o'clock in the evening. So we'll take it moving out pretty faster, any faster that we possibly can. Here's a little bit closer look at Futurecast for tomorrow, and it's kind of slowed down a little bit just to give you a better idea of how things may progress. Here we are by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We start to see that cluster broken line of storms approaching the area. Here we are by 3. By around 4 o'clock, more of those intense storms approaching South Mississippi, and any one of these will carry the potential for producing hail, damaging winds, and tornadoes across the area. Notice as we head towards the 7 to 8 o'clock time frame, again with this latest run of Futurecast, wants to clear us out pretty fast. So that would be some good news if we can clear it out pretty early. Talk about the rainfall amounts. Again, it doesn't look like a lot of widespread heavy flooding rain for South Mississippi. Of course, there can always be that risk for an isolated flash flooding wherever we see storms that may kind of train over the same areas, and some areas get dumped on with heavy rain over a period of time. But overall, it's not looking like the situation where everybody gets multiple inches of rain. As far as the winds are concerned, it is going to be quite windy ahead of the storm system. Winds 15 to 25, increase in 25 to 35, and we could see gusts well over 40 miles per hour as we go into the afternoon and evening hours. And that's not associated with the thunderstorms. That is just the pressure gradient between low pressure to the north and higher pressure to the south, causing those winds to be quite gusty. Looking outside now, not much going on, but other than those storms over in western Mississippi. There's our storm system spinning across the plains, blowing dust showing up on the satellite tonight over West Texas and Oklahoma, thanks to the strong winds from that storm system. You can see it all pretty well on the water vapor. You see that area of low pressure spinning up towards Iowa and Minnesota. Another, what we call a short wave or a small area of low pressure crossing through West Texas tonight, and another one coming out of Las Vegas. All that big dip in the jet stream, that's going to carry all that energy over towards Mississippi as we go into tonight and tomorrow to produce this risk of severe weather. I do want to show you just a wider view of the potential for severe storms tomorrow afternoon. It is more likely that it's going to be more widespread across areas like central Mississippi, like the Pine Belt, up into northern Mississippi and going into Alabama, where we could see more in the way of thunderstorms in those locations. So that's something, if you have friends and family across the state or over in Alabama, unless they live under the rock, maybe they haven't heard of the risk for severe weather coming up tomorrow, but make sure they are safe. Make sure they have a plan in action just in case some of those storms impact those locations. 7-day forecast. The good news is after Saturday, everything looks pretty good. We look pretty quiet as we go into Sunday. So maybe if your St. Patrick's Day celebration was scheduled for Saturday, Sunday it looks like a lot better to have that celebration to go. So overall tomorrow, we just want you to stay weather aware, have multiple ways to get warnings. If you have the WLOX weather app, the weather app will, once the National Weather Service issues severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings, they are sent automatically to the WLOX weather app and they alert you instantly. Also, a NOAA weather radio is a good backup source. It's always going to have multiple ways to get warnings and alerts, and as much as we use social media is not a great way to get instant alerts. You need something that's going to instantly notify you whenever warnings are issued so you can quickly take action should you have to. So we'll be watching this as we go into tomorrow. We're going to have many more updates tomorrow and throughout the day should any warnings be issued. So we'll keep an eye on things, and of course we're going to have much more of the forecast at 10 o'clock tonight on WLOX, ABC, and CBS. Thanks for watching.